What's up, guys? It's Benny. It is the Christmas season, so people will say peace on earth, goodwill towards men, and President Trump's trying to deliver on a Ukraine peace plan by Christmas. A 28-point plan that requires Russia effectively to stop killing everyone, and Ukraine to stop killing back, and requires Ukraine to give up territory, and Ukraine then gets security guarantees from America, and so on and so forth. It looks like both parties are amenable to this and want this to happen, and there's been signals from both Russia and Ukraine that it's going to happen. Okay, that's a good thing. Tucker Carlson just said that there is an entire infrastructure that is trying to destroy this plan, and more importantly, that there is corruption at the highest levels of some of the biggest corporate media companies in the country, in the world, that are trying to continue the war. Tucker Carlson just launched a nuclear weapon in the Ukraine war, and it goes like this. Here we go. Tucker posting just minutes ago. For months, the Wall Street Journal has held a story detailing the personal corruption of Andrei Yermak. This is the second most powerful man in Ukraine. I'd actually never heard of him. I don't pretend to be like a smart person on this stuff. But nonetheless, Yermak has skimmed hundreds of millions of dollars in American tax dollars meant for Ukraine aid. The journal's editors can prove this. So the Wall Street Journal is sitting on this story, but they're not publishing it. Why? Instead, they're protecting Yermak. Why? Because Yermak is leading Ukraine's efforts to scuttle the Trump peace plan for Eastern Europe. The owners of the Wall Street Journal don't want peace with Russia. They want war. At the same time, the journal's editorial pages have attacked the Trump administration for pushing a peace agreement. If this is true corruption, without informing its readers, the Murdoch family is using both sides of the newspaper to continue the war with Russia. That's not the behavior of a news organization. This is the hallmark of an intel agency. Holy smokes. Okay, so this is Tucker Carlson straight up calling his former employers, the Murdochs, an intel agency, or effectively saying that they operate on behalf of what you would assume would be the CIA here in the case of Ukraine. Now, well, who's right here? Who's correct? Well, I mean, Tucker has impeccable sources on this kind of stuff and has been doing the Lord's work on reporting out of Ukraine. It has been proven pretty much beyond a shadow of a doubt that Ukraine is just a proxy state for our State Department, and that it is a CIA cutout, that the entire country itself is upheld and the entire war itself is operated on behalf of the CIA and our intel agencies. The New York Times had a great article on this where it effectively says that the CIA is just running the entire war in Ukraine. The war has gone horribly. There's been so many deaths. It has destroyed the entire country. There is no more Ukraine really anymore. Volodymyr Zelensky is a dictator and is somebody who is canceling Christian churches. He's somebody who has canceled the elections. The 28-point peace plan requires them to have an election within 100 days of the signing of the peace plan. And so I want this whole mess to be over. There are clearly people who don't. Clearly, there are people who are making an enormous amount of money off this. And obviously, there's been a major push for many in the media to continue this war for one horrible reason or another. Also, the war in Gaza, the same thing, right? This is not in line with the American public. The American public wants this war to end. And Tucker Carlson is alleging that there is demonstrable evidence that the entire American government has been defrauded in this, and that the Wall Street Journal is holding on to it. I guess we'll wait to see. I'm sure there's going to be a salvo back and forth. I mean, obviously Tucker knows the Murdochs. He worked with them for a very long time, knows Fox News, knows the people at the Wall Street Journal. So we'll see, right? I guess we'll see. But more importantly, like, where does the peace plan lie with Ukraine right now? The vice president has come out earlier this week and said, screw these people that are trying to scuttle the deal. Saying effectively, like, you need to do two things in this. You need to make sure that the killing stops, and you need to make sure that it doesn't start all over again, right? I don't know. I'd like to see it end. I'd like to see the war end. I think Tucker does too. Here's the most recent reporting on the peace plan and where those negotiations are.
Today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is leading a delegation in Geneva to talk with European security officials about this plan that's received backlash this weekend from Western leaders and some U.S. lawmakers. Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst is live with the latest. Hey, Trey.
Jackie, good morning. Talks are taking place today in Geneva, Switzerland, aimed at ending the war between Russia and Ukraine. These conversations include officials from the U.S., Ukraine, and a variety of European countries, all trying to rally behind Kyiv. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky spoke about the negotiations and a 28-point peace plan that has circulated in recent days.
I have signed a decree on the composition of the Ukrainian delegation and approved all relevant directives. Our representatives know how to protect Ukrainian national interests and exactly what is needed to prevent Russia from carrying out a third invasion, another strike against Ukraine.
Zelensky did not go into details about the 28-point peace plan that would require Ukraine to give up more territory in the east of their country and limit the size of their military. Some U.S. senators say that Secretary of State Marco Rubio told them the plan was a Russian wish list and not the actual plan. A State Department spokesperson responded to those comments, saying they were blatantly false, with Secretary of State Rubio saying in an X post, quote, "The peace proposal was authored by the U.S. It is offered as a strong framework for ongoing negotiations. It is based on input from the Russian side, but it is also based on previous and ongoing input from Ukraine." We're also hearing directly from the Russian President, Vladimir Putin, who warned that his troops would take more territory by force if the Ukrainians don't agree to the plan.
We have this text. We received it through existing channels of communication with the U.S. administration. I believe it can be used as the basis of a final peaceful settlement, but it has not been discussed with us in detail.
There is certainly a level of irony with the Russian leader talking about a peaceful settlement, since he is the man who ordered the initial full-scale invasion. But we do expect to get more information on this critical meeting today in Switzerland in the hours and days ahead. Jackie?
All right, Trey Yingst for us. Thank you so much, Trey.
And here's Tucker Carlson's reporting on the corruption in Ukraine. He's obviously been covering the story very, very closely. I guess we'll end with this. Peace on earth. We truly want that. This war does nothing good for any nation, does nothing good for us, and we want it to end. It's been the stance of this program forever. Okay. Here's Tucker on Ukraine corruption.
Second fact, not guess, fact is Ukrainian military is selling a huge percentage, up to half of the arms that we send them. Half. And I'm not guessing about this. I know that for a fact, okay? Not speculation. And they're selling it, and a lot of it's winding up with the drug cartels on our border. So this is a crime, what's happening. Our intel agencies are fully aware of this. You tell me they're not profiting from this. Of course, you think the CIA is not profiting from this? Yes, they are. I can't prove that, but I believe that. What they don't know this. I know this, but they don't know this. They know this. And no one is saying it. Like, no American seems aware of this. We're sending these arms to Ukraine, hundreds of billions of dollars, and it's being stolen and sold to our actual enemies. Like, what the? I'm trying not to swear. What is this?
Yeah, well, the reason why is because you have Zelensky, it was about 3 weeks ago, I think, was specifically asked this question. So he went at some length in one of his interviews to say, oh, no, absolutely not. There's no truth to that at all. We've implemented all these things. I know that, but the media just reported what he said.
You know, the New York Times could get on the web and order Ukrainian weapons. That's a fact. I'm not guessing. It's a fact. They could do that today. Like,